watch a movie, then he'll tell you all about it. It's the Armstrong Entertainment Show.
Hello everyone and welcome to Armstrong Entertainment. This is Chad here and I'm currently watching the HBO 4-part documentary series Allen vs. Farrow. Now only the first 3 episodes have dropped, but I cannot wait any longer to talk about this series. I honestly thought it was going to be about Woody Allen and his relationship and involvement with Suni, and then it turns out it's really about his sexual misconduct with his stepdaughter Dylan Farrow when she was 7 years old. Let me just start off by saying that this is Mia Farrow's documentary, Case Closed. It is very one-sided, and you are not going to be hearing from the other side, from Woody Allen or anyone involved with Woody Allen or his team or anyone who even remotely supports Woody Allen. So just know that going in. They only interview and talk with Mia Farrow's friends and family, and only the children who are willing to be involved with this. I'll get into that later, but it's just so one-sided and unfortunate because it kind of makes the whole documentary series a bit moot. If I were to watch this documentary series and take everything what they're saying 100% and not even regard the other side, I would be furiated with the fact that Woody Allen was not thrown in jail for what he allegedly did to Dylan Farrow, because it's insane. Like, all of this evidence she has and all of these people and the videos, the phone calls, everything just adds up that he is guilty. He should be in jail. Why is this man not in jail? However, they don't even bother exploring the flip side, the other side, and it's really, really unfortunate. It's really disgusting how Woody Allen groomed Suni into this relationship. It was his girlfriend's stepdaughter. It's just creepy all around. He was an older guy, and it just really shows in his movies as well. And Manhattan especially, they show you clips from that. It's art imitating life, and that's who this guy is, and it's really disgusting. He's not completely innocent, and I think this documentary definitely does show light on that. If this series would have had some opposing views, I just think it would have hit and landed much harder, and people would be taking it much more seriously than they are, but unfortunately, they really missed the mark. Case in point, episode 3 with the phone calls. It seemed like they were really getting somewhere and they were going to have some damning evidence of him on a phone conversation with Mia Farrow. She's asking him these questions and being very accusatory, and then all of a sudden, the tape is edited and they don't let you listen to his response or what he's about to say, and they manipulate the phone conversations in a way where it's totally misconstrued, and it's so sneaky how at the very top in subtitles it says taken from a later part of the call, and you're like, okay, well, what happened in between that moment? I mean, you can't just play 15 seconds of an audio clip and expect us to believe what's being said. You can't manipulate the audience like that, and it just really was frustrating to listen to. It felt sneaky, and it just didn't feel truthful. I just wish the documentary people would have played the whole clip in its entirety, regardless of how boring it is. I would have appreciated that much more, and I would have trusted where it was coming from, because now I just kind of take all those phone conversations and I don't really care about them because they were edited too much. Now let's talk about the video footage that Mia took of Dylan after the alleged abuse and how Dylan was explaining exactly what happened. Now, I am no child psychologist, but watching those tapes just seemed pretty obvious that something was going on. Now, I know the counter argument is Mia coached her into saying what she was supposed to say, but they brought in these child psychologists who watched the tape and gave their opinions, and I really appreciated that part of it because they brought in some outside people, which is one of the very few times they do so in this documentary, and they gave us their opinions, and they all came to the conclusion that something happened and that Dylan was not coached. So I'm just gonna have to take that for what it is and believe it. Unfortunately, this whole case is an absolute mess. There are skeletons in Mia Farrow's closet. There are skeletons in Woody Allen's closet. So many things that are misconstrued and said, and they're pitted against each other, and Woody Allen's using his star power to overcome this and get the story out in these magazines first, and then Mia Farrow's taping their phone call. It's just like, it's such an utter mess, and if you don't do more research outside of watching this documentary, you are not going to get the full picture and see exactly what's going on. There is one person I would really love to hear from. Actually, there are several people I would like to hear from, but especially Mia Farrow's children. She had 14 of them. I want to focus on the older ones. Unfortunately, Ronan and Dylan, not that I want to negate their memories and what they think. They were so young. I feel like they were heavily influenced by both their parents, so I kind of want to take them out of the situation. I mean, all of the kids were obviously influenced by the parents, but let's focus on someone who was actually there that day, who was old enough to remember and have his own thoughts and feelings. Moses Farrow. He actually is very quiet, but in 2018, I Googled this on the interwebs, and he has this blog post that he explains everything, and it kind of shook me because what I was thinking about the whole case totally changed after reading his blog post. So I highly recommend you Googling Moses Farrow blog post, reading that, and see where you land on it, because I don't understand where his motivation would be besides just telling the truth. I mean, of course, then again, who knows? But I believe what he said, and what he wrote is probably my number one thing that really influenced me on how I'm thinking about this whole case. So at the end of the day, I don't think we are ever going to know exactly what happened. I do not think this documentary was strong enough to bring a new case against Woody Allen. And if anything, I think Woody Allen might sue HBO or the documentary filmmakers for this. Who knows? The fact that Mia Farrow is still fighting this 30 years later just shows how devoted she is and how much she believes her daughter Dylan and what's going on. So I can't discredit her for that. I mean, who would fight for 30 years for something you don't really truly believe in? And she believes it. This is her mission. I totally understand. I just wish the documentary was more of a slam dunk to get some answers. I think Woody Allen is a bit of a creep, and he has a perversion to young women. He's been able to keep himself out of trouble all of these years, regardless of whether or not that's because he's famous and he can do what he wants, or if he's just getting away with it. Again, I just wish this documentary was more objective, but unfortunately it is not, and that is why people and critics alike are discarding it and not really paying it much attention. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to think. I think something happened. Woody Allen's creepy. Mia Farrow has her own objectives, and they're coming across in this documentary, but I don't know what to say. What do you guys think? Are you Team Allen? Are you Team Farrow? The last episode, episode 4, airs this Sunday, March 14th on HBO. Until next time.
He'll watch a movie, then he'll tell you all about it. It's the Armstrong Entertainment Show.